Welcome to Statistics Made Simple, and I am Savita Balsang. In this video, I am going to define skewness and coefficient of skewness, which are of three types, that is Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness, Bowley's coefficient of skewness, and measure of skewness based on moments. Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness and Bowley's coefficient of skewness is a very important topic, and you will get a 10 marker based on this topic in the exam. I'll first explain what we understand by the word skewness. Skewness means lack of symmetry or asymmetry. Now, what are the properties of a symmetric distribution? For a symmetric distribution, the mean, median, and mode are equal. The second point is the median is equidistant from the lower and upper quartiles. That is, Q3 minus Q2 is equal to Q2 minus Q1. And we all know that Q2 is nothing but the second quartile, which is the median itself. The symmetric distribution has a bell-shaped curve. That is, the area on both the tails of the curve are equal. Now, if you observe the curve in the green box, you see that this curve is a symmetric curve. The central line you see is the point where the mean, median, and mode are all equal. And you can also observe that the area on the right tail of the curve and the left tail of the curve are equal. So such a type of curve is called as a symmetric curve, and the distribution is called as a symmetrical distribution or symmetric distribution. So remember that for a symmetric distribution, the mean, median, and mode will coincide. So if a distribution is not symmetric, then it means that it is asymmetric or it is skewed. Types of skewed distribution. The first one is positively skewed distribution. In a positively skewed distribution, that is also called as a right skewed distribution, more values are concentrated on the left side or the left tail of the distribution graph, while the right tail of the distribution graph is longer. So, for a positively skewed distribution, the right tail is longer than the left tail, and you will see that for a positively skewed distribution, as highlighted in the graph, z value is less than m is less than x bar. That is, the mode is less than the median, which is less than the mean. The negatively skewed distribution. In a negatively skewed distribution, which is also called as a left skewed distribution, more values are concentrated on the right side or the right tail of the distribution graph, while the left tail of the distribution graph is longer. So, in simple words, for a negatively skewed distribution, the left tail is longer than the right tail. And for a negatively skewed distribution, the mean is less than the median is less than the mode, as highlighted in the graph. The positively skewed distribution and the negatively skewed distribution along with the diagram can be asked as a 2 marker. Some of the important measures of skewness are: the first one is Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness, second is Bowley's coefficient of skewness, and third is measure of skewness based on moments. Now, the coefficient of skewness is a measure which indicates the degree of skewness. Now, how do we interpret the coefficient of skewness value? The coefficient of skewness can be positive, 0, or negative. A positive value of coefficient of skewness indicates a positively skewed distribution. whereas a negative value of coefficient of skewness indicates a negatively skewed distribution. And if the coefficient of skewness is equal to 0, it indicates a symmetric distribution. These interpretations are important, and usually for the 5 mark or 10 mark problems, we write the conclusion based on the value of the coefficient of skewness. Pearson's coefficient of skewness. This measure of skewness is based on the mean, mode, and standard deviation and is given by S is equal to mean minus mode by standard deviation. So, in terms of notations, it is S equal to x bar minus z divided by sigma. Now, if the mode is ill-defined, then we use the empirical formula, that is z equal to 3m minus 2x bar. So substituting in S, we get S equal to x bar minus, open the bracket, 3m minus 2x bar divided by sigma, which is equal to, take the negative sign within the bracket, so the signs will change. You'll get equal to x bar minus 3m plus 2x bar divided by sigma, which is equal to 3x bar minus 3m by sigma. And in the next step, you remove 3 common from the first and the second term. So the final expression for S when the mode is ill-defined is 3 into x bar minus m divided by sigma, where x bar is the mean, m is the median, and sigma is the standard deviation. So the general formula for Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness is S equal to x bar minus z divided by sigma. But whenever the mode is ill-defined, S is equal to 3 into x bar minus m divided by sigma. So problems based on this formula are for 10 marks. The second measure of skewness is Bowley's coefficient of skewness. This measure of skewness is based on the quartiles and is given by S equal to Q3 plus Q1 minus 2m divided by Q3 minus Q1, where Q1 is the first or lower quartile, Q3 is the third or upper quartile, and m is the median. Again, problems based on Bowley's coefficient of skewness would be a 10 marker. The third measure of skewness is the coefficient of skewness based on moments and is given by beta 1 equal to mu 3 square divided by mu 2 cubed, where mu 2 and mu 3 are the second and third central moments. I will now give a short explanation about beta 1. We just now discussed that beta 1 is the third measure of skewness, which is based on moments. This measure, it does not indicate the direction of skewness, that is whether the distribution is positively skewed or negatively skewed. This is because mu 3 being the sum of the cubes of the deviations from the mean may be positive or negative, but mu 3 square will always be positive. And also we know that mu 2 being the variance should always be a positive value. Hence beta 1 would always be positive. So this drawback can be removed if we use Karl-Pearson's gamma coefficient. The symbol, which looks like R, is gamma. Please learn to write it correctly. So gamma 1 is the square root of beta 1. So the formula is given by gamma 1 is equal to root of beta 1. So remember this formula as well as the next simplified formula, which I am going to explain. When we work out the problems on the measure of skewness beta 1, you'll understand the concept better. Let us now simplify gamma 1 equal to root of beta 1, which is equal to root of substitute the formula for beta 1, which is mu 3 square divided by mu 2 cubed. Now we know that mu 2 is the variance, and the variance is denoted by sigma square. So it will be equal to root of mu 3 square divided by sigma square whole cube. So in place of mu 2, we are replacing it by sigma square. So which will be equal to root of mu 3 divided by sigma cubed the whole square. Please understand this step very carefully. Then you'll see that the root and the square will get cancelled, and we are left with only mu 3 divided by sigma cubed. Now, whenever mu 3 is a negative value in the problem, we use Karl Pearson's gamma coefficient in the simplified form, which is nothing but gamma 1 equal to mu 3 divided by sigma square into sigma. Okay, or sigma square into sigma is nothing but sigma cubed. This is just a simplified format we are writing. Again, you will understand why I am writing it this way when we work out the problems. Skewness is a very important topic. As mentioned earlier, you will get a sure 10 marker from here. Understand the formulae and the concept thoroughly. Thank you all for watching, and look out for my next video where I'll find solutions to problems based on skewness.